Yo, 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 this is Dorky Diggity Dave, and today we're talking about Avengers Infinity War. But first thing, go ahead and check out the link down below in the description. That is where I'm going to be putting all of my reviews from now on. This one will be on this channel, but I'm going to be putting them all on that channel. So if you do like the video reviews, go ahead and click that down there, subscribe, and do all that kind of good stuff. And that's where I'll be posting them. So let's get on with it. Welcome back, guys. We are discussing the Avengers Infinity War. This is a culmination of 10 years of Marvel movies, from Iron Man to Thor to Hulk to Captain America, the first Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, all that stuff. It's all culminated into one movie. Finally, this whole thing that we've been waiting for, from seeing Thanos at the end of the first Avengers and saying, well, how is this all going to culminate? And it does culminate here. I'm using the word culminate a lot, but that's fine, because I think it works. So you have Thanos here. Thanos is the big bad. He's doing bad things, but he's doing bad things for a good reason, at least in his head, which is, what all great villains do. They think that they're doing something good, and actually he is kind of like the hero of his own story, which is fine. The thing about Avengers Infinity War is that it has a lot of really great stuff. All the things that you love about Marvel is there. The jokes are there, the action is there, the visuals are there, all that stuff is there. The only thing is, with this particular movie, it feels like it's a little bit too much without a rest. Like you're constantly like dialing at 10 or 10.5, And so you kind of wish that you had maybe a little bit more softness, I guess I would say. Just a little bit more time to kind of let everything soak in. And I do understand that there is a lot of stuff, and the movie is well over 2 hours and 30 minutes. I believe it's 2 hours and 36 minutes total. There's a lot of stuff to jam in there. Now, yes, overall, it's a great movie. It's a great achievement. The Russos did come through. They knocked it out of the park. Everything that you would expect to see, you do see. Now, my thing with it is I do feel it was a little bit too jokey, a little bit too many one-liners, which really isn't their style, at least from what I've seen from like The Winter Soldier and from Civil War, and I know those were different movies, but there's a lot of stuff at stake here, so that when the big things happen, it's not as impactful as it could be, because there were too many jokes around. Now, I'm not talking about like Thor Ragnarok or Iron Man 3 level jokes. There is enough serious stuff for you to still have some weight to the story, so it doesn't really ruin it, but it kind of keeps it from being like a true great Marvel movie. My favorite movie is still gonna be probably The Winter Soldier, somewhere between The Winter Soldier and Civil War. Those two are my favorite of the Marvel films. This one is a good Marvel film. It's not my favorite, but it is still pretty excellent. The CG work is fantastic. You will see, like, you'll look at Thanos and be like, dude, that's crazy. That's crazy that this looks so good. And they do deserve a big round of applause for that, because that's a great achievement, as well as things like Mantis and some of the other CG that you just don't notice. It just like flows, and you just watch it and you're like, okay, that's cool. However, there are some spots in the movie where the CG is a little bit dodgy, but I mean, that's what happens when you hire like 20,000 different CGI houses and then try to put it all together into one cohesive mix. It's a little bit much. I do like the things that they've done in the movie, though, and again, this is spoiler free, so I'm not going to go into specifics, but there are certain things that happen in each individual movie that kind of come together in this movie, referencing things that happened there, and then they kind of bring it together and meld it together with another aspect of the movie or another character, and then you're just kind of like, oh, I remember that part, and that's kind of cool. There's little details in there that really do speak to you, and the Russos did take their time with the story. There are some very nicely crafted plot points and things that come together that meet in the culmination, there's the word again, of the movie. And you look at it and you're like, wow, someone actually really thought about this. And yeah, it is a surprise, because you go to some of these other movies and you're like, did anybody actually think about what they could do with this? And they did. It does feel like they thought about it, and it did feel good when there were the payoffs. That was good stuff. Now, one thing that happened in this movie, not really one thing, but many times in the movie, was that they answered a lot of the people's complaints from previous Avengers movies. Like, and my personal complaint, it never felt like the Avengers can lose in Avengers 1, Avengers 2. Like, they go up against this like army of like things that all look the same, and then they just like fire them out of the sky, and they just like, you know, and of course they're like killing all these things too, so you don't really feel it because they all look the same. They're all like clones, so you're just like whatever, they're just like robot type things, and that's fine. But you never felt like they actually had anything to lose or that they would lose at all. And what Thanos brings along with his army is a physical and a cerebral threat at the same time. So, you know, where Loki was kind of like supposed to do both of those, he was never really that much of a menacing physical threat for the Avengers. But Thanos comes in and just like wallops him and his army and everything else. They get walloped, and that's great. And not that you want to see them lose, but you kind of want to see them lose, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to just see them just like steamroll everybody. That's a little bit boring. So yeah, kudos for them on that aspect. I did like that. Now, one thing to keep in mind in this whole thing is that I may not even know what I'm talking about because the movie is that big. I felt like I was ultra focused trying to make sure that I caught everything, and sometimes I needed to take a step back so I can see like the wider view of everything. So I think this movie demands multiple viewings, at least a second viewing, and that's something that I really want to do. So I did get that. The way everything that you've heard so far is my first impression, but I would love to go back and see it again and kind of maybe do a secondary review, or maybe just go over a spoiler review or something like that. Because I really do feel like there is so much to see that you have to see this twice, or at least twice. Verdict time, guys. Yes, should you go see the movie? I already answered it. Yes, you should go see it. I wasn't overly disappointed by the negative aspects of the movie. That wasn't enough to bring the movie down for me. I still love it. I still love it as an entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I think that is definitely a recommendation to go get in a seat, check it out. First day, second day, third day, $5 Tuesday, whatever you want. So hopefully you liked this video. If you did, go ahead and click subscribe, click like, leave a comment. And by comments, if you did love it, go ahead and throw that down there in the comments. If you hated it, throw that down there in the comments. If you have questions or you want to discuss some stuff, just throw that down there also. Don't put spoilers though. Nobody really likes spoilers. Some people do, some people don't. I don't. Anyway, if you liked the video, and I hope that you did, go ahead and click subscribe, click like, leave a comment, share it with your friends, share it with your mama. All that stuff helps me out. And remember, stay dorky, and I'll catch y'all on the flip.